said, let's get started. I have my bolster and block set up for reclined butterfly. That said, if you'd prefer to take reclined butterfly on your spine, you're more than welcome to do this without props. So it's entirely up to you. You might bring a block underneath your bolster and then decide you don't want it. You can easily remove it. So let's begin in our first yin shape, jumping straight in. And in the first yin shape, I'm going to introduce the theme and offer a meditation that you might choose to continue with throughout your practice, or you can do whatever you like. So coming to recline either straight onto your back on your mat, or reclining on your bolster or stacked pillows. If it's okay in your hip flexors and your knees and anywhere else in the body, bringing the soles of the feet to touch and allowing the knees to fall out to the side. You are more than welcome to modify this shape, bringing the knees back together if the body doesn't like this. So always modifying based on what you're feeling in your body. And as mentioned earlier, if you're unsure of anything, you can just unmute yourself and ask. Your arms might be by your side, perhaps out to the side a little more if you have the space in your room. Wiggle around as much as you need to until you find that spot that you can hold in, that sweet spot. Maybe the eyes will naturally close or just soften with the gaze. So our yin practice this evening is targeting the spine. So maybe bringing your awareness now to your pelvis. The pelvis, which is like a bowl. And deep in the pelvis is a bright red ball of light. And it's glowing and it's illuminating the pelvis. And then as you inhale, the bright red light starts to travel up the spine, all the way up to the space behind the eyebrows. And as you exhale, that bright red ball of light slowly travels all the way back down the spine and into the pelvis. So the inhale takes the ball of light up, and the exhale takes the ball of light back down. Inhale takes the light up, and the exhale takes the light down. If you have the space to slow the breath, the ball of light slows too. And if the mind wanders off the mat, perhaps you can bring it back to see that ball of light traveling up and down the spinal column. We're going to find either our deep breaths or anything else that helps prepare the body to move out of this shape. In the comfort of your own home, if you want to take exhales out the mouth, you're more than welcome to. And without feeling rushed, and when you're ready, if the knees are still apart, perhaps the hands either side your knees and draw your knees back together. If you're on a prop or a bolster, rolling to one side and removing your props off your mat. And then coming down onto the floor. Perhaps you'll knock your knees side to side for a nice little reset of the back. But you're welcome to do anything else that you prefer for your rebound. Whether it's just simply laying in stillness tonight. Maybe the movement will just come naturally. You'll just know what you need to do in your body. So the meditation that we started with the ball of red light traveling up and down the spine, is something that you can continue with if you choose to. So you could come into the shape, find your stillness, and then come back to that meditation. Since it is a spine targeted class, pairs very well. But if that didn't work for you, and there's something else you'd prefer to work with, you are absolutely more than welcome to do whatever works for you, as this is your practice. And the most important thing is you get what you need. So suggestions are made, and it's up to you what you prefer to do with it. Our next shape this evening is going to be a seated forward fold. We're going to be getting into the hamstrings a little bit as well. So we're going to start seated on a blanket or a cushion if you have one. You can absolutely remove this if you decide you don't want it. I have a block with me just in case. So coming to sit on your prop, extending the legs forward, and then we're going to wiggle the bottom back. So making sure we're really on those sits bones. From here, we're going to bend through that left knee. And if it's okay, taking a half butterfly. So with half butterfly, that left sole of the foot can either press against the right leg or tuck underneath. Maybe a block under the knee for some support, or alternatively, if this is not working for you, extending that left leg out to the side. So the star is this right leg. We want to fold over that right leg, getting into the hamstrings a little bit. So if you can take the half butterfly shape, that's great. If you can't, it doesn't really matter. It's more about the hamstrings and rounding in the back. So allowing the back to gently round, just setting the timer. You may even bring a hand on a block perhaps, or a forearms onto your block. So when we are practicing in a yin way, it's okay to round through the spine. This is making the spine our target. Imagining all of the layers of muscles we have in the back and softening them. So we're not applying pressure to the discs. And using that breath to maybe soften the back of the right leg a little more. Welcoming in any meditation techniques, any visualization, or maybe just focusing on your breath this evening. Let's prepare the body to move out of the shape any way you like with your breaths or anything else that works for you. And when you feel you're ready, rising that torso, and we're going to go straight over to the other side. Of course, if you need to do something first, you're welcome to do that. But releasing that left leg and extending that left leg forward. Picking up your right knee now, if it's okay. Bending the knee and either the sole of the foot against the thigh, but as you can see in my body, if I'm really particular about the sole of the foot resting against the thigh, my knee gets stuck up here and I get stuck in my bone compression in my hip. So I tuck my foot under the thigh, which is very untraditional, but that's okay because I'm an untraditional yogi. And remember your option, let that leg go to the side if the knee doesn't like it. When you're ready, folding forward over that left leg, maybe hand on block if you like that. And please don't feel like you have to put up with knee pain or any other pain in your practice. There's always modifications and options, and I'm here to guide you and offer suggestions. Allow that gentle rounding of the back. Let go of the back, the muscles. Let go of the jaw, the forehead. Allow the breath to flow. As you tell your body that it's okay to let go of tension with the calm flow of your breath.
Let's prepare to move.
When you feel you're ready, slowly rise the torso. And let's release the leg, maybe a hand underneath that extended leg to help bend the knee. Few ways to flush this out. Knocking knees side to side can sometimes feel good depending on the body. Maybe you would rather come into tabletop and just take some cat-cows. Stillness is there as well, if that calls to you. And just a mini rebound before we come into our next shape. About 5 more breaths. We're going to come into a back bend now, and you've all practiced yin for a while with me, so you know I'll offer quite a few options here. Because it's the spine, I'd really love to offer supported bridge, but it is quite a strong shape. I know in my body when I practice yin, I can't always come into this. So that's okay. It's completely fine. I always have a block and a blanket close to pad my head. So for supported bridge, our bottom is on the floor. Knees bent, feet flat on the floor to start with, and you can always try and see if it's available. It's okay if it's not. Then draping the body over the prop. So the difference here is your bottom stays on the floor, so it's a little bit more of a back bend and it's just a different shape. I like to pad my head. It's too much for me, for my neck, without some support. And then the option is there whether you extend the legs or keep the legs bent. If it's just too much, pontoon is a great alternative because it's the same shape, same target area, but the tops of the shoulders come down to the floor. So for pontoon, our bottom rests on top of our bolster or our stacked pillows or cushions. Bottom stays up on the prop. Slide the bottom forward a little bit as you come back, and then rest the tops of the shoulders. You can absolutely keep your knees bent with your feet flat on the floor. It makes it a little less intense. Otherwise, you can extend the legs if the back allows it, if your body allows it. And then, like we do when we find that sweet spot in our yin shapes, we find softness as we relax the muscles. Our muscles work so hard for us. So our yin is all about relaxing those muscles so they get out of the way. The star of the show is the fascia, connective tissue, the joints, the ligaments. And just gently reminding you all that it is okay to come out of shapes earlier if you need to. If the body is warning you and you know it's not safe to stay in a shape, you come out straight away. That's completely fine. Maybe you see that ball of red light in the pelvis moving up and down the spine. Or perhaps something else is working for you. Meditation pairs so well with our yin practice. Meditation can even be as simple as counting the breath or focusing on the breath and just bringing the mind back to one pointed focus when you notice it's wandered away into the past or off into the future. preparing to move now. And when you're ready, if the legs are extended, I suggest bending the knees and bringing the feet flat on the floor and releasing your shape. If you're in pontoon, you might bring your bottom off the prop and slide it away. Supported bridges might rise, then move the prop. Let's knock our knees side to side really slowly and gently, just to reset the back before taking any other shape. So resetting the back after a back bend can be really important. Sometimes if we go straight into a forward bend after a back bend, we can have spasms in the back. So just knocking those knees side to side. If you feel like you need a twist, maybe you'll take a static hold twist. But if you feel like you're ready for something else, go for it. Shavasana. Be mindful if you're drawing the knees in to move slowly, maybe circling the knees. Giving the body a bit of time to send us some feedback. We're going to find a forward fold. And I'm going to offer some options for you. So we're going to start once again seated on our blanket or our cushion, which you can absolutely remove if you don't want it. But just start and see how the body responds. We extend our legs forward, wiggle the bottom back. And we're going to come into a caterpillar, which is a forward fold from here. And I'm going to offer you two choices. Option one, if you don't want to get into your hamstrings, to get rid of the hamstrings, slide a pillow or your bolster underneath your knees. And then folding forward and really rounding through the back. Maybe bending the elbows and resting the forehead gently in the hands so that the neck is supported. If you want to get into your hamstrings, skip the bolster and just folding forward, allowing the head to be heavy, allowing the back to round. If you don't have a bolster but you feel like your neck needs support, you might slide a block. You can take your legs a little wider, slide a block between the legs and rest your elbows and rest your forehead. So just get a little creative based on what you need. All nice, Paul. Bringing the bolster across the knees is a great option as well. Softening that back, the neck. Last minute and a half. So you might be able to modify the shape a little bit. Perhaps the hamstrings are starting to release if you're working there. Maybe your back is allowing you to soften a little more into the shape if you're working there. Or maybe you've noticed no change. That's okay too. Let's prepare to move now. Slowly, when you feel you're ready, no rush tonight. Rising the torso, releasing that forward fold. Removing any props. If you'd like to come into that knocking the knees side to side from here, you're welcome to do that, or anything else. Anything else your body calls for. So our next shape will be reclined on our backs, just so you know. So if you're wanting to come down onto the floor, you won't have to get back up at all for the practice. So that said, make sure you have your blankets close, or if you're cooling down and you want to quickly grab some extra layers, a dressing gown or something cozy, you're welcome to do that. So when you're ready, we're going to come down onto our back. Cover ourselves with blankets if that's what we need. And we're going to find our banana shape, bananasan. So imagining someone super glued your bottom to your mat and you cannot move it. Walking your feet to the right corner of your mat, maybe crossing left ankle over right, if that's okay for your left hip. And then shuffling the upper body also to the left corner. Option to extend the arms over the head. Right hand taking hold of that left wrist. This is optional with the arms. If the arms are over the head and you start to feel tingling that doesn't go away, you can keep your body as it is and just bring those arms back down. You might feel like you're breathing into the left side of the body here. And if that mind takes a wander off your mat, see if you can bring it back, giving it something to focus on tonight. prepare to move. And when you feel you're ready, we're going to release the legs back to center and then the upper body back to center, and just pause here for a full breath. After your full breath, going immediately to the other side. So walking the legs to the left corner, maybe crossing right ankle over left, if that's okay for your right hip. Then shuffling your upper body also to the left corner, making that banana shape, option to bring the arms overhead if that's okay for you. And now feeling into the right side of the body. Moving the spine in a different way. Let's prepare to move. Slowly bringing the legs back to center, nice and slow. Upper body as well. Perhaps pausing here for a few breaths, or maybe you'll draw the knees in, up to you. About 5 breaths, I'm counting for you before we take our next shape. We're going to find a reclined twist now. We'll come into a deeper twist, which can absolutely be modified if it just doesn't feel right in your body. Perhaps have a block or a cushion or something close, maybe even a bolster that you can reach, just in case your knees need a little bit of support. So to start with, have your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. We'll cross our left knee over the right knee, no space. Shift your hips over to the left. Drop your knees slowly over to the right. Try to keep your left shoulder grounded. You might choose to slide a pillow or a cushion or a bolster underneath your knees. If you feel it's too much with the knees crossed, you can absolutely uncross the knees and enjoy a stacked knee twist instead, where the left knee rests on top of the right knee. Maybe even right hand rests on top of the left thigh. If you'd like a little more weight. So whether you're in your cross-kneed twist or your stack-kneed twist, the target is the same, the spine. So we use the breath to try to soften from the hips all the way up to the neck. The gaze might be towards the ceiling, or you may have the head turned to look over the left shoulder. Up to you. What's available? What's appropriate for you? Find your 3 breaths or whatever you do to prepare to move. When you're ready, be nice and slow and gentle if you can, as you slowly release those knees back to center. Uncrossing the knees if they are crossed, re-center your hips. And we'll pause here at the center for a full breath. Then making our way to the other side. So crossing the right knee over the left. Shift the hips to the right first. This aligns our spine. And then our knees fall over to the left side. And please modify. Uncross those knees if you prefer. Slide a prop underneath the knees for a little support. Left hand resting on top of the right thigh for more. Anchor that right shoulder. Don't worry about how far the knees may or may not come towards the floor. Turning the head if you like over the right shoulder, or keep it neutral if that serves your neck better. It's entirely up to you. Use your breath to find some softness, to find your focus, to find that sweet spot. preparing to move out of this final yin shape. Taking your time. When you feel you're ready, nice and gentle with the back as you release your twist. Taking any final movement that you feel you might need before you can take your Shavasana. If you're ready for Shavasana, go for it. But if you feel like you just need to do one more thing, do that now. And then when you're ready, your Shavasana might be on your back. You might bring a bolster underneath the knees. Maybe tonight you prefer to lay on your side or your belly. Whatever's available for you in your body that allows you to relax all of the muscles. Find that shape. And enjoy your beautiful deep rest, your Shavasana.
feel your body lay on your mat. Notice the natural flow of the breath, flowing in and out of the body almost effortlessly. Tonight, at the end of your Shavasana, you might like to tell yourself something kind about you. Maybe something you love about yourself. Or maybe you'd prefer to remind yourself that you're doing the very best you can. And your best is enough. If you would like to remain in your Shavasana and extend it for longer, you are absolutely welcome to do that. You don't need to move. Just ignore my voice and extend your Shavasana for as long as you like. Alternatively, if you would prefer to work towards ending your practice in a comfortable seat, you might like to start to move the body, even if it's just a little bit, fingers and toes wiggling, knocking the head, rocking the head side to side, perhaps. If you're working towards your comfortable seat, the movement will be bigger and get bigger and bigger until you eventually rise and find that seat that is comfortable for you. If you're in your seat, you might just rest your hands on your thighs. Perhaps you bring your hands somewhere on your body or palms together, whatever's comfortable for you this evening. Bowing your head towards the heart. And if you like, let's take 3 cleansing breaths. So if you're coming with me, exhale all of your air. Take a big breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Last one. Then sealing your lips, breathing in and out through your nose. And may you have a beautiful sleep and a great rest of your week. Thank you for joining me, yogis. Namaste. Many, many thanks, everybody. No need to